Doggone it. I really have wanted to take my family at some point to Universal Studios. Now the question is, will I actually be able to even get in with about 80% of the shirts that I have in my closet? That is the exact situation that has happened to a retired officer when he attempted to go to Universal Studios in Orlando, and he was held up for more than an hour because he was wearing a retired police officer shirt, and they said that he wasn't allowed to wear it in. But that's not a... Oh, wait a second. Yeah, it's all of our business. I found the story on BlueLivesMatter.blue. Retired Ormond Beach police officer Vincent Champion said Universal Studios stopped him for wearing a police t-shirt. I will read to you the relevant pieces that stood out to me. It says that Officer Champion and his girlfriend were stopped by security at the gates of Universal Studios Orlando theme park because he was wearing a shirt that said retired police officer. Retired Ormond Beach police officer Vincent Champion told Blue Lives Matter that the incident occurred just after 6:30 on November 1st as he and his girlfriend were headed into the theme park to meet up with some other couples for Halloween Horror Nights. Well, then they should have let him wear his big, scary policeman shirt in there to scare a few folks in the park. He was a 22-year veteran from his department, Ormond Beach, but now splits his time between working as a reserve investigator for the Florida State's Attorney's Office and representing other officers through International Brotherhood of Police Officers. He walked up to the line wearing his retired law enforcement officer shirt. He starts emptying out all of his pockets, and he's about to walk through when a girl behind the security counter, it says, she said, "Do you have another shirt?" That's when I wish I would have been there. They'd be like, well, I have lots of other shirts. I just don't put them all on at once. But he told her, no, ma'am, I do not, and explained that he was in town from Daytona. She says, you can't come in here with anything that says police officer on it. Now, it's going to turn out, I think, that they just misunderstood their own policy. They probably have some bias, and that they're misapplying that and reading it into the policy. We'll get there. Now, for me, I don't know if I would fight to stay or if I would leave, but in this case, Champion said that he had some other couples that they were meeting up there, and he didn't want to let them down, didn't want to cancel or change the plans, make a big deal because of him. So he worked it out. Ultimately, somebody hands him another shirt. He says he'll turn it inside out. They said no. Somebody hands him another shirt to wear. He goes to put that on over it, and she said, no, you're going to have to take that shirt back to your car. So he says, I'm not taking it back to my car. I'm not taking it back to my car. And so then he ends up with the security manager in this dialogue for like an hour. The security supervisor says, comes down, according to Champion, and explains, we have a policy that you can't wear any police gear. I asked him to show me the policy, as he recalls. He said they discussed the signage that said patrons could wear nothing with gang sign affiliations or offensive language, but there was nothing that said anything about police gear or shirts with badges. Imagine that. The security supervisor told Champion that they didn't permit anything with the word police because they didn't want any of the other park patrons to confuse him with real police or park security. I'll take made-up policy on the fly for 1,000, Alex. My man Champion has a great response when he's asked the security supervisor if it would be all right for an EMT to wear an EMT shirt, even though other patrons might mistake them for being a park medic. And the supervisor answered yes. After almost an hour, the security supervisor agrees. Oh, thank you so much, security overlord. To allow Champion into the park wearing his retired police officer t-shirt after he was unable to produce any written rule or policy to the contrary. But, of course, the experience was still humiliating. Now, according to BlueLivesMatter.blue, they did reach out to Universal Studios with no response. However, Champion's girlfriend had mentioned this on Twitter, and the official response from Universal was, while we're honored to welcome off-duty first responders to our resort as guests, safety is our highest priority. Our security teams and local emergency officials maintain a strong ongoing presence in our parks. To avoid any possible confusion, this attire is not allowed. So is someone not allowed to wear a Hogwarts t-shirt so that they're not confused with any of the actors pretending to be students of the Magic University? Can you not wear a shirt with a picture of a drink on it? Because Universal serves beverages, and they wouldn't want you to be confused as someone that could actually charge someone to serve them a drink. Where does the nonsense end? It's ridiculous. To me, if this is true, as it is reported, then this is another example of how tolerance very often only goes one way and is actually, as portrayed in today's culture, the most intolerant way that we can approach life. That if someone promotes something we disagree with, then we have to shut it down. that silencing it is better than engaging it or dealing with it directly. All right, guys, those are my brief thoughts on this situation. What are yours? Love to hear them in the comments. Like this video, give it a share if you would, and if this is a place where you can subscribe, do that. This video is brought to you by Sheepdog Nation, www.sheepdognation.com. If you are looking for an online community for first responders and all their supporters, that is a place for you. Sheepdognation.com. It is free in the app and Play Store as well. Get your account today. It is for first responders and their supporters. No unnecessary bias and censorship, kind of like we heard about in the story today. All right, hope to see you out there.